Greetings, fellow ghouls and specters alike. Your ghost host at the most, Jacob Weil here.
And Blue Dragon 5, here to engage in some haunted holiday hijinks by trudging through the catacombs and dusting off the cobwebs to recount our spooky selection of Halloween classics.
So light the jack-o'-lanterns, suit up, and grab the candy dish as we revive and recount tonight's spooky selection. Ed, and Eddy's Boo Ha Ha. Or I guess you could say the Spook-e-ville selection.
True.
So, yep, folks, this is a long-awaited Eddy and Eddy episode that we've done. The long-awaited Eddy and Eddy Halloween special. At least in my mind, anyway. So, Dragon, why don't you start us off?
So I honestly I was never really big on the Halloween special.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's fine. Of the three holiday specials they did, not counting Christmas in July. I mean, look, I can't. If I count, it would be at the top. But let's just say, for argument's sake, focusing on the three full on holiday specials they did, like specials they did. This is in the middle. It's not the bottom. It's not the top. It's in the middle. And again, there's not really essentially wrong with this. It just kind of suffers from it's kind of like it's the period where Edda and Eddy, until the Big Picture show, they kind of overstayed their welcome. We're kind of drifting into the like when they go. For me, Edda and Eddy, when they went to Peach Creek, when we saw them go back to school, it was kind of like violating the rule of Phineas and Ferb to an extent. It's kind of like it's summers in the cul-de-sac. When we go to school, I'm not saying we didn't get a couple good episodes out of it, but it always felt like we were always kind of in a. It was this weird. It was kind of like the post movie SpongeBob era. Even though, I mean, we didn't really technically get the movie until after all that, so maybe a bad analogy. But you see what I'm saying, though. It just feels like this was kind of like Edda and Eddy, maybe not at in their prime, but this was. I like this in that it returned us to the cul-de-sac, which is where we need to be. So at least it has that going for it. So there's structurally, I respect what we have here, and it is fun. But when I look back on and go through it, like we're about to, I kind of notice some things like this doesn't. Some things rub me the wrong way. Some things like I mean, it's just not quite as like hysterically funny and awesome and like quote worthy as like traditional Ed and Eddy for me. So I was hesitant to kind of always do this one for hijinks, but there's a lot of demand to like, oh, we gotta do Ed and Eddy. We gotta say, I figured, yeah, let's do it. Let's see what really works in this, and maybe what could have been polished a little bit.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Dragon. I'm not going to say this is the height of Edda and Eddy either, but we very rarely get to talk about this show in the first place on this channel anyway.
Yeah.
It's like, and don't get me wrong, you yourself really like Edda and Eddy itself, don't you?
Yeah, I love Edda and Eddy. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that again. It was always felt like we lost a step when we went to the school, and this is kind of in that era.
I mean, like I said, I'm not going to deny you that they kind of did lose a bit of their step there, but again, they didn't really do much when it came to Halloween.
That's true, and that was like, yeah.
I mean, there were some horrifying elements occasionally, but
like Ed in the monster costume.
Yep. I mean, technically, I guess we could do that, but that'd be stretching things a little bit.
Yeah.
But as I said, I personally do. I'm guessing I like this episode more than you do. There are quite a few moments where I did get a good laugh out of it, and of course, Ed's hallucinations are classics. I mean, let's just say pretty much anything Ed does, for the most part.
Yeah.
But and of course, who hasn't get excited about like doing these kinds of things on Halloween, like like going to neighborhoods, like trying to find a new place to trick or treat and all that. like it's all part. It's all there in your childhood, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of see some kind of relatability there, and even some also relatability when you find out the whole thing's just scammed.
Well, a trick, but yeah.
Well, trick, scam, same thing.
Well, we have to be specific because scam. With Eddy, it usually has certain connotations. Like there's no monetary. Well, there's no, I guess, sugary gain in this case.
I'm just surprised nobody mentioned Jawbreakers in this episode.
I know, as am I. I could have, I was like, going back to this. I thought, huh?
No Jawbreakers.
Not one Jawbreaker.
Nope.
I have a theory as to why, but we'll get into it when we get there.
All right, but like I said, I personally like this episode. Like I said, I'm not gonna say it's like the heights of Edda and Eddy or anything like that. But I'm guessing I like it more than Dragon does.
Yeah. So I will say this is I don't really have background. I just have 2 bits of background I would like to mention.
Yeah.
So apparently, Annucci, he directed this. He loved it. So this was when they were making Edda and Eddy, if memory serves, I kind of worked this a little bit into my thesis, a little bit of this. If memory serves, Edda and Eddy was supposed to end essentially in the cul-de-sac. Essentially, it was going to be they were supposed to end after. It depends on how you section it off because Max has all sorts of chaos since they cut out like 1 or 2 seasons of it. Let's just say,
and ironically enough, this episode cannot be found on Max,
which again is due to that factor. Now I don't know if they completely cut the. I think they cut half of the of like the Peach Creek school kind of era stuff. So essentially what happens is you have 4 classic Edda and Eddy technically breaks down into 4 seasons. Then you have 2 seasons of them at school and the 3 holiday specials in conjunction with the school era. So essentially the show is supposed to end at 4 seasons. Like the episode where we have like the time, it was either a time capsule or something. We go like 90 years in the future. That was like the finale for the series.
Yeah, I remember that.
So that's originally what the plan was, and then basically got a kind of almost like Kim Possible, got somewhat of a revival or renewal, or there was a lot of demand by the fans, and they kind of came back for more. And they also threw in like 3 holiday specials, which is why we get we have the 3 holiday specials. And
from what I understand, it was just like there's going to be like a 6th season, but Danny convinced Cartoon Network to convince them to agree to like trim it down so they could do the movie as a finale.
Yeah. There you go.
Which I think ultimately was the right way to go.
Yeah. So Annucci he directed this, and I my read on, I don't know this for a fact. I like to think Annucci was a big fan of the Peanuts holiday specials, which I think maybe kind of motivated him to if we can do some holiday specials of the Eds, that'd be great. And I can only imagine, it's given the Jawbreaker fueled antics of the Eds on the regular, Halloween is a no-brainer for the Eds, which it makes all sense in the world to do this one.
Yeah.
I mean, Christmas and Halloween, they're the gold standards. Well, honestly, with any television series, especially a cartoon. So the fact that we come back to the Eds, we the Christmas special, and we do this, I mean, makes all sense in the world.
Did you see the Christmas one as your favorite one?
Of the 3 holiday specials, yes.
All right, and then the last one would be the Valentine's Day one.
I didn't care for the Valentine, but again, it's in the school era, so that's why.
All right.
It just didn't play. It's just it's the Eds are very it's like romance is anathema for the Eds. It just doesn't play. We've seen this with the Canker sisters. We know for a fact it's like, no, we can't do it with Valentine's Day in the Ed universe. There's like 1 girl besides the Cankers, and Sarah doesn't count.
Yeah, no, because nobody wants to be with Sarah except Jimmy.
That's the thing. And even so, it's like a platonic friendshipy kind of thing. I don't know. It's the fact is, it's like it's like the Muppets problem. We only have so many female characters in the show.
Yep.
And no one wants to be with the Cankers.
No, but I mean, can you blame them though?
Everyone wants to be with Naz, which is problematic in itself.
I mean, okay.
Not problematic. Well, not problematic. I'm just saying, just in terms of like the ratio of like every character wants the one.
No. So it's like problematic as in like it causes a problem for everyone, not problematic as in like the way.
Not problematic. Problematic, just problematic in the sense of from a storytelling perspective.
So basically, what you would say is problematic in the way it's meant to be used, and not the way the internet uses it.
Exactly. That's exactly what precisely.
There we go.
I think just in terms of like the rate, it's literally like a ratio. Just like one female. It's like the Smith. I guess the tropey term would be it's the Smurfette principle.
Yep, that's the exact term.
There you go. Anyway, do we have any comments we want to shout out, or do we want to save them for when we get into the thing?
We have quite a bit from Z and K if you want to highlight those.
Yeah, sure. Let's highlight some.
Season 5 / the Eds, the school episodes I didn't see when they were first aired. Only the holiday specials, except ironically this one.
Yeah, I think kind of the way it's somewhat designed is, with the exception of the premiere of season 5, the rest of the holiday specials could play, because again, they're holidays, with the exception of Valentine's Day. You could play them before that, before.
And at the beginning and the very beginning of this one.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really take place at the school, so
that's a thing too. So I mean, that's the thing. I like at least the first two holidays. With Christmas and Halloween, we kind of have them set.
Mainly in the culture.
But they have like a nice out for okay, we are putting them in school, which logically they would be to center around these holidays. We have a way of not taking place in the school, which again is very limiting environmentally for the Eds.
All right.
Well, again, look, that's just my take on it. Again, I'm sure some people really like the Peach Creek stuff. I just,
the only thing that came close to that was the haunted house episode.
Exactly. There's a good one. I don't think we've talked about that, but I don't think we talked about it.
And yeah, the flash forward to them being the old men was meant to be the finale. Glad they didn't do that, because if that was the case, it would have been such a downer.
True. Well, again,
there was even a deleted scene that revealed they were married to the elderly Cankers.
Which is funny.
Yes, but thank God it's not canon.
Now I want to be very clear. Well, it sounds like I'm poo-pooing the later seasons of Ed and Eddy, which essentially I am, but again, not aggressively. So I will say this: it's very important that we do get Big Picture show, because that is necessary, and we did need that. That's a proper finale for Ed and Eddy. So
yeah, it is.
I'm glad we end up there. So I'm not trying to underwrite what we did get. It's just when you look back on it, it's kind of like it's this weird position of like SpongeBob. We have like a very clear cut like kind of break point. We're here. We kind of have to leapfrog over it, where it's like, this is like classic OG Ed and Eddy, and we leapfrog to the movie.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and the thing is, obviously, we are both big fans of Ed and Eddy. I think. Right. Correct me if I'm wrong, but at least I don't know if it was you. I mean, I know I did, but I put in the top 10 when we did the '90s ranking podcast.
I know it made my list. I don't know where it was on my list, and it was high up on yours. I mean, I had a lot of superhero shows on mine, so I don't know if the Eds made the top 10 or not.
Because I remember making the thumbnails for the top for like the part 3, the finale, and and Ed and Eddy was one of the thumbnails on there.
So that would imply that it made the.
So it was definitely me, and maybe it was Tiki too, but
yeah.
Exit, but don't get me wrong. I was like, still not my favorite, as I mentioned. Courage beats that out, but funny enough, we just talked about that a couple of days ago.
Yep, synergy.
So, Cartoon Network.
Yep. Black and white, clear as crystal. Cartoon Network.
Yes, except for that time when they tried to do live action.
And now the bad memories come back.
Dragon, just purge them out, all right? Just purge them, all right?
Yep.
Just think of the good times of Cartoon Network. Just remember the good cartoons.
Yep. Okay. Think Cartoon Fridays. Think Cartoon Fridays. Okay.
Powerpuff Girls. Johnny Bravo.
There we go.
Dexter's Laboratory.
Yeah.
Officer's Home for Imaginary Friends.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Good times.
Ed and Eddy.
Mike, Lou, and Og.
I didn't watch that one.
Evil Con Carne.
Billy and Mandy.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Bear with a brain. Okay, we're good.
And even a lot of their recent stuff is pretty good too. Like obviously, we just recently talked about We Bear Bears. I mean, I like Amazing World of Gumball.
Infinity Train, at least for a time.
It's now more associated with Max than it is.
Well, I mean, now it's extinct, but yes.
and Samurai Jack.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
but seriously, we should really do the Gumball one of these years.
Well, we'll see. I guess we're a year away from that, so we'll see what happens.
Yes. Have you seen the Gumball Halloween?
I have not. I don't think I have, but I might have caught it if they were doing like a marathon one time. I don't know.
Yeah, but like I said, I really like Gumball.
Yeah.
And you know it's very similar to Gumballs?
Jawbreakers.
Jawbreakers.
Jawbreakers!
Yeah, see? We had a plan for that transition the whole time.
Seriously, one of my favorite Jawbreaker plots was was like the free Jawbreaker day, and they had this odyssey in getting there, and just
And
like
they-
everything that could go wrong went wrong. And just like
Yeah.
the sea, like the giant like flood of chickens.
Yeah, I remember. I love
In the
that.
third act was just oh my god, that was one of my favorite Ed and Eddy moments right there. Just the epicness of Ed like Double D like screaming to the heavens, like it's like essentially fate is against us or something like that.
Fate is against us. I can totally see him saying something like that. Like I was just watching one earlier when when Eddy planted the seed for the money tree, which is just a screwdriver, just a screw or a
God.
bolt.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's like a bolt, like a lug nut.
Ed did like one of his classic lines, like "Even I am not that dumb, Double D."
It's a good line.
Yeah, like you know you've crossed the line when even Ed's calling you out on stupidity. So speaking of Ed's stupidity, let's get into this episode.
Yes.
So the episode begins with Double D collecting leaves.
Well, he's collecting piles of leaves, but not in the way you think. So again, I have to think, and I want to be.
They're falling and he's organizing them.
I would like to think moments like this. This is Antonucci showing a lot of love, or like through his a lot of love for the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown, but in kind of his own style, where it's like how do we open Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown? Aside from carving the pumpkin, we had the leaf gag, like essentially after our opening.
All right.
Yeah, plenty of lines jumping in the pile of leaves. Never jump into a pile of leaves, a wet sucker kind of a thing. I don't know. Look, intentional or not, it's a indicative of like we're showing that it's definitely fall. With the leaves.
Yep, and then he's just sitting there just standing there, relaxing, reading a book.
Yep.
And then out comes Eddy slamming the door on his face.
Oh yeah.
It's like, stupid teacher! Giving attention on Halloween?
He's got a plan.
Spook-e-ville.
Yep, we have opening credits too.
Very interestingly designed opening credits, nonetheless.
I think it does. Antonucci's essentially so. I don't know if it's like of all time, but at the very least, he said the Halloween episode is his favorite. So I think that shows in the fact that we have I don't know if Jingle Jangle had an opening credit sequence. Do you recall?
I don't remember.
I don't think it did, because I think that kind of shows just the favoritism towards this one. Like we have an opening credit sequence.
I can see why he considered this his favorite, considering how artistic it is.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's a lot of a lot of liberties taken here.
Yeah, so I can understand where he's coming from an artistic standpoint, at least.
Yeah. All right, so Ed, he's in his basement.
Like he's been watching nonstop horror movies.
Not just horror movies, the horror movies.
Yep. According to Z&K, the Xmas special I just had credits written in the snow or as rooftop decorations.
Okay, well, forget what I said, but he did say he really liked this one, so I don't know. So Ed's been doing a movie marathon, a B movie marathon.
And it's basically rewired his brain, or as Eddy puts, like, what brain?
Good point.
I mean, to be fair, we have seen Eddy put his arm through Ed's head before, so he kind of does have a point there.
Yeah.
So like, there's really nothing in there, is it? Most of the time.
Well, his name was Head, but he lost a few letters.
He lost he.
Yep.
Or no, ha. He lost ha.
Yeah. Well, he says how he didn't spell ha.
Yeah, that's what he lost. He's Ed, and he lost the ha.
Yep.
Anyway, I think this joke wasn't funny to begin with, and we're just dragging it to the ground.
Exactly. It's not going.
No, it's like, why'd you have to do this, Dragon?
I don't know.
Yeah, I blame you.
Okay.
All right.
Anywho, Ed, watching B movies, his brain's been rewired. What brain? Let's see. So Eddy,
Like he had his brother give a map to the ultimate Halloween destination,
Spook-e-ville.
spelled spook-e-ville.
Yes, so you have this map to basically this candy paradise of like full size candy bars and just treasure trove of candy.
I mean,
No,
let's face it, as a kid, you would love to go to the house with full-sized candy bars.
yeah, but I gotta be honest. For me, I got a particular candy taste. If they had full size candy bars, I would want those full size candy bars to be cookie and cream.
Cookies and cream.
If you told me, okay, this there's a house that gives away full size Hershey's cookie and cream candy bars, I'd be okay, yes, because that's so specific. I gotta go there.
And you'd probably go like with different costumes and try and get more than one piece of candy.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's. I mean, you have to bring like a suitcase and everything, but you know.
What I mean is like you'd go like grab put in different costumes and you find.
That would be quite the racket. I gotta be honest.
I mean, it's something the Eds would definitely do.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
It's like so, yeah. It's like so. So Eddy has this idea to go to Spook-e-ville. Double D has his doubts, and it's like you don't want to ruin my. I mean, Ed's Halloween. And Ed just like does the puppy dog face.
It was a Double D's game. Of course, Double D possibly. I mean, here's the. It's always hard to say who's the best Ed of the show. I mean, all three of them are great. I think I've always been a Double D man. I really do like Double D, but I mean, how can you say no to Ed?
Exactly.
That's the thing. So,
Think
Double D's on board.
he always has like the classic moments. That's like he has a classic moment, and like my parents took the stairs because I'm grounded.
God, it's still priceless.
I know it's like it is basically abuse, like abuse,
I still love
but
the
it's
episode where Ed has the nightmare where Johnny's his mother. I
whole.
love it for so many reasons. It's so sick. Here's the thing: while it's hysterically just absurd, I do love that within the dream logic. I feel so much pathos, and I feel so terrible for Ed. And that nightmare is horrible and does paint a really sad look at his life with the relationship with his parents.
Yeah, like I said, and also the fact that they took down the stairs because he's grounded.
Yep.
It's like, and another classic one, of course, the boomerang episode.
Yeah.
Basically turns into the exact opposite of what they are.
Yeah.
Like smart Ed. I don't even know how to describe Double D.
I guess freewheeling or free birding. I guess.
But he's definitely freeing something.
Well,
But yeah,
the point being, he's basically Double D is he's relaxed versus uptight. So it's the
yeah, like
maybe he's too relaxed. But yeah.
yeah. Then Eddy becomes like a caring mother to a briefcase.
Okay, admittedly that one's like a bit of a opposite.
Well, hippie. Well, I guess the NK put it like hippie stripper.
Well, yeah, for Double D, yeah.
We're trying to avoid the exact connotations, but yeah, it's the NK. There you go.
Anyway, well, I guess for Eddie's here's the thing. Eddie's still stretching because Eddie's usually about having the girly magazine. So I guess it's the reverse of that is like the testosterone to estrogen. I guess I don't know something.
It's like the opposite. Like he's usually like this like conniving schemer versus caring mother-like figure.
Yeah, I'm not sure. The mirror kind of times out on that one, but still, it's fun. Look, it's fun. I'm just saying in terms of opposites. He's not exactly a Reverse Flash or a Bizarro Superman, if you will.
Well, keep in mind though, it's not necessarily they're not necessarily all opposites because the other characters didn't exactly do. I was like, the opposite of Rolf is not an opera singer.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, okay, fair point. Anyway. It's a mystical boomerang. Let's not question
it. Although I still love when Jimmy, just like strong Jimmy, just flexes it and just flies out of his shirt. All right, sorry. Like I said, we don't talk about Ed and Eddy that much. This is my time to reminisce.
All right, so. Okay, let's see. So, point being, Double D's in for the plan. It's Halloween night. Ed. We see the Ed's costumes. We have Eddy as Zombie Elvis, which is priceless.
Which actually went as one year, not exactly like Eddy's. But like I went as like I wore like an Elvis suit and painted my body green.
Wait, you did?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like I had like green body paint and I wore an Elvis costume.
Were you zombie Elvis, or were you just like?
That's what I did. That's what I just said. I went as zombie Elvis.
Okay.
Like I said, I didn't do it exactly like Eddy did, but like I said, I had an Elvis suit and I painted my body green. I was
I'm
zombie
saying, given you
Elvis.
were green, you could have been Franken Elvis, man.
Well, technically,
Or,
I was supposed to be zombie Elvis.
no, I mean, it still works. I mean, it's cool. Just
And,
yeah,
and basically, Frankenstein is a zombie with extra steps.
yeah.
I mean, I know there's more to it than that, but at least in the Universal version, that's basically what he is.
I mean, look, I'm not arguing. Frankenstein is kind of he's a zombie via science, but he's a cool zombie via science.
Yeah, he is. I'm not going to deny any of that.
Basically, Frankenstein's a zombie. He's the coolest zombie who ever lived.
Yes, and he's an eloquent one, and he's actually has a lot of he's sometimes intelligent too.
I actually saw an adaptation of a recent adaptation of Frankenstein this month.
Really?
Yes,
What is it?
it's Lisa Frankenstein.
How was it?
I mean, it's different than any version you've seen before.
Isn't that one like that Zelda Williams movie?
Yes.
Again, she like creates creates an undead boyfriend, basically.
Yes.
Does sound pretty interesting.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Anyway.
It's like she couldn't find a perfect boyfriend, so she just made one.
Well, more or less, yeah.
And what better way than dead?
Well, you gotta start somewhere.
Yep. Everyone has standards, Dragon.
That's true. Some sands are lower than dirt.
Yep.
6 feet under.
Exactly. And Ed is Lothar the Viking.
Yes, the Viking and protector of Montezuma.
Which is in Central America.
Yep, which is funny for two reasons. One is the weird, like, a Viking in Central America, just like already. And then secondly, Montezuma being, well, Montezuma's revenge. So basically, he's Montezuma's revenge. Which, well, it happens if you drink the water down there, kids, and don't do that.
Oh god. I just looked up what it is. Is it like supposed to be like dysentery?
Yeah, it's because literally the whole Raider story, they all got Montezuma's revenge, essentially, is the idea. So
Montezuma.
Montezuma's revenge is when you drink the very infected water down there in Central America. It does not end well. Well, and being the operative word. Okay, so we're just gonna move on from there. Anyway, speaking of bacteria.
Yep, Ed Double D dressed as a germ.
Yep, but not just any germ. The bubonic plague.
Yes.
I love how upset that he gets at the whole not plaque, plague.
Yep. That's exactly what he got upset with. Like he's not
points for it being a scary costume,
Yeah, it's like nobody knows what it is.
He was ahead of his time. Okay, had he dressed like this in 2020, everyone would have been terrified.
Yeah. Yes, Dragon, we get it. The pandemic was a thing.
Yes.
So
He's
yeah.
dressed like a germ. Okay, a germ can be scary. When is a germ at its most scary? Come on.
When it's an Invader Zim episode.
Okay, it's a fair point. Anyway,
have you seen the Germs episode of Zim?
Yeah, I see the germ. Yes, I saw the Germs episode of Invader Zim.
Like, I don't know. I mean, like, have you seen have we ever actually done the Halloween episode on Hijinks?
Well, if we did, I wasn't on for it.
Well, I can double check on that because if it's not, that could be something we could do next year or something.
All right, anyway.
Reminds me of the episode of Arthur where Braden went as the 16th century.
Yep.
I don't remember that one, but
speaking of ridiculously kind of funny costumes like that. The Scary Godmother. You remember Scary Godmother? Daryl's costume, don't you?
No, I don't, unfortunately.
Daryl was a piece of candy.
Ooh, piece of candy.
Yeah. And again, it was then kind of recontextualized by Hannah helping him out, try to be scary. Was you're the last piece of candy before someone gets sick. As in you've had so much candy, there's that one last piece that just makes you lose it all.
Oh God.
Yeah,
That's disturbing.
there you go.
It's like, those are their costumes, and then we see an early flash of Ed starting to go nuts.
Yeah, the eyes are starting to fritz,
like static on a TV.
which is a really good effect, by the way.
Yep.
And so basically, it's warping reality. He's so the first one is so he basically kind of peers over, he sees the Canker sisters, they're roasting marshmallows, and
He
reality fritzes out, and then
He he sees them as basically the three witches from Macbeth, basically.
essentially basically casting. I think he's looking for the word hex, but he says a jinx. They're casting a jinx on the Eds.
On you, he and I.
Yep. So basically, now it's up to Lothor to protect the Eds.
Yep.
From all the monsters that are going to descend upon them.
Using Eddy's spatula.
Yep. Which I love later on. He's like sharpening like a blade.
Yep. Dude, that is his blade dragon. I mean, come on.
Well, yeah.
Don't be ridiculous, dragon. I mean, that's his blade, for crying out loud.
And you see, if Thor, in the next Thor movie, okay, if he lets the little girl use the hammer, okay, he's got to use the spatula.
It's like
he's making breakfast for love, and then he's using the spatula.
And of course, he could just transmogrify Mjolnir into the worthy spatula.
That is true. We never really see him do that stuff, but he, in theory, could. Well, we didn't. I'm sorry, scratch that. We saw him do it with the umbrella, so yeah, he could do that.
Seeing, as soon as I saw the Kankers of Wood, I was like, oh, that's why the Sandersons from Hocus Pocus seem familiar.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
They put a spell on you, and they sing about it.
And now you're mine. Anyway.
I still, I don't like the movie Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
But I love the scene with Gary Marshall. I do love the witches.
You mean, what's the scene with Gary Marshall? You mean the bus?
No. Gary Marshall's the guy dressed like the devil.
All right.
Really, nothing?
I don't remember.
Okay, they go to they're witches. Essentially, this take on the Sanderson sisters.
They think he's their master.
Yeah, they think he's Satan and their master. So they go to he gives them candy, and they they think it's like getting instructions or getting rewards from the big guy. And the reality is just a guy in a costume.
It's like Disney. Yeah, folks. The Disney made a movie where three witches follow Satan.
Yep. See, it doesn't take much. Just when Gary Marshall shows up, the movie kind of improves. Just when he shows up there, when he shows up like, hey, Lost in America. We have the big casino. Albert Brooks trying to sell the guy and like give him the money back after they've lost everything at the casino. Gary Marshall is there for this scene. It is automatically better.
I like Hocus Pocus, but I know I'm kind of in a minority on this channel.
Look, here's the thing. I promise you, I'm not jumping on a bandwagon of like anti Hocus Pocus. We almost talked about Hocus Pocus. I wasn't the deciding vote on this, but I gave it a watch, and for the life of me, the opening of Hocus Pocus, I just found it. I find until we get to the witches, it's so unbearable. All the stuff around like the witches is unbearable to me. Getting there. At the very least, just starting the movie. I'm not saying it wouldn't improve when I get into it, but it was like I had the nostalgia for Hocus Pocus, and I was wondering how it would hold up, and I went back to it in later years, getting ready for the sequel and everything, which I didn't end up seeing because I realized, oh man, I don't think Hocus Pocus holds up.
All right.
You're not interested at all in that point, are you?
Not really.
Okay, well, never mind then. Just
I'm sorry, Dragon.
Oh, that's fine. I'm just saying he's asking about Hocus Pocus, anyways. Okay, let's move on.
I like it. You don't like it. All right.
Okay.
Like, and you didn't want to do the sequel because you didn't like Hocus the first movie upon rewatch.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know there was going to be more than that.
All right.
Was it going to be more?
No. It's
All right. Anyway.
Yeah.
So he sees them as basically the three weird sisters from Macbeth. Or is it Macbeth or is it Hamlet?
Macbeth.
That's what I thought. So he sees them like Hijinks, but in reality they're just eating marshmallows. It's like, what? And then they're like, "Did you hear something?"
Of course, just I think it's like, what is it, Marie? No, not Marie. Lee. Lee's like putting ketchup on hers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While I'm putting ketchup on him, that's just gross.
It's disgusting.
I mean, I like ketchup, and I mean, not plain, obviously, but not plain.
You put mustard on yours, Jacob.
Like, well, Dragon, you put relish on yours, right?
No.
Well, I don't put mustard on mine. I hate Dragon. I hate mustard. I don't eat mustard on anything.
Anything.
No.
Okay.
I don't like mustard.
All right.
But I like ketchup and I like marshmallows and s'mores, but I would not eat them with ketchup. That sounds gross.
We know the King sisters love ketchup for some reason.
Yep.
They're obsessed with the ketchup.
They like the tomatoes.
Yeah.
It's like, and so who is Ed's first victim?
Well, I'm so glad you asked. It's the happy-go-lucky Jimmy. So Jimmy's dressed like an alien.
He hasn't. Thank God it's Jimmy, because Jimmy sucks.
Okay, so here's the thing. be that as it may.
So you're not disagreeing with me?
I'm not disagreeing with you, however. Okay? This is where we started to get into the muddy territory of the episode. It's not muddy in like an aggressive, like, I didn't like this. It's kind of like there's like an ethical thing with this episode that does bug me. So we have the happy-go-lucky Jimmy. You know, he's dressed like an alien. He's seen as an actual alien. So, by the way, cool design on Jimmy as an alien. By the way, I love the whole bear trap mouth thing. With given he has like the retainer, headgear kind of stuff.
Yep,
looks good. Anyway, he has like the little jack-o'-lantern, the flashlight, which is kind of interpreted as a ray gun. So a lot of fun kind of hallucination stuff there. But so Ed hits poor Jimmy with a stop sign. Look, the way this scene plays, it's just like Jimmy didn't really do anything. Like he didn't do his usual normal shtick. He didn't use like the whole like normal from Garfield. Okay, you want something like this to happen, a normal from Garfield, which essentially Jimmy could at times be like so ridiculously cute it's kind of sickening. Or just like Jimmy, just sometimes Jimmy is warranted stuff. Sometimes it's the way this is played. It's like Jimmy wasn't a glutton for punishment this time. He just said, "Oh yeah, nice costume." He said, "Oh yeah, you're a Viking. That's cool." He complimented his costume. He didn't do anything wrong or to warrant punishment this one time.
Oh yeah.
And it just feels like
I know, but that's what we did. But it's still funny when Ed whacks him with the.
It's cathartic, but if only if we're in any other episode,
So it's like season 1 Beljeet again.
Exactly. So yeah, poor. Here's the thing, like, Eddy is laughing his head off at this. It's like I'm not. It's not that funny.
I mean, I personally thought it was funny.
It's funny, but like not in this case. It's like the poor kid didn't do anything to deserve it here, and plus they took his candy.
Yeah.
It's uncalled for.
I mean, they're not actually. I mean, come on, Dragon. They're not actually saying it's a good thing that it happened.
Well, I know that. I'm not saying. That's what I'm saying. It's not a problem. It just feels like a little, like, feels a little murky. That Ed's just he's basically he's hurting people. He's hurting.
I mean, like you said, and everyone gets to come up and set there, like, honestly, except for Ed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So technically, Ed, look, I don't mind that Ed doesn't kind of take his lumps at the end there, but it just feels like why do you have to hit him in the first place though? Why couldn't it just be shenanigans happen and then like the things then the candy gets taken or something? I don't know.
Like, yeah, like I said, I'm not gonna deny like how you feel on that. I'm just saying I still thought it was hilarious, and it's mainly funny because of Eddie and Double D's reaction to it.
Sure.
It's like Eddie's laughing and Double D's horrified reaction.
I just wish Jimmy did something to warrant it just a little more, if only.
It's like Z and K points. Sounds like your problems with the episode are the same as how most people look at the cursed telephone episode.
Well, yeah. How do you feel about the cursed telephone episode?
Yeah, I mean, I know some people like outright hate it, but it's not my favorite episode, and I will say in that episode, Eddie did nothing to deserve it.
That's specifically Eddie doing nothing to deserve, and Double D just really being kind of daft in that moment of like, Double D, can't you see what's happening here?
Yeah,
it's. Literally, I think he's like struck by lightning like twice in a row or something. Like, Double D, come on.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not gonna say it's like my favorite, but I don't outright hate that episode. I don't know if there's any episodes of Ed and Eddie that I outright hate. But
I don't know. I'd have to think on it. I mean, not counting the school era. I mean, just like the classic Ed and Eddie. I mean, the cursed telephone is it's in that murky area more so than this moment here. But I would say just based on the ending of that episode, that's really only concentrated to the ending.
You mean where Rolf is doing it, Eddie's still getting hurt?
Or that's the thing.
Or is it Johnny?
I think. Oh yeah, so Johnny had the phone at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, and Eddie was still getting hurt.
That's the thing. Plus, Johnny's involvement in that kind of feeds into the whole like, oh man, Johnny's responsible for it too. Just goes figure,
Yeah. It's still kind of weird that Johnny ended up being the pariah at the end of the Big Picture show.
I think that to me that's cathartic. It's like, okay, you know what? I think Johnny deserves a little bit of that. That's.
I mean, I'd say Kevin deserved it more than anyone else.
Okay, fine, Kevin. Okay, yes, Kevin deserved it more. But I'm just saying I think we let off Johnny. Johnny gets off way too easy often. In that
I mean, I'm not going to deny that, but still.
Basically, Johnny gets a pass because he has the fun prop.
It's because he has Plank.
The thing, he has Plank. If he didn't have Plank, Johnny has no stay power.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so yeah, it's like, that incurs the wrath of the vampiress.
Yes. Okay. So we have Sarah as
the vampiress.
Yes, Sarah as the vampires.
Which dragon? Like, there's no hallucination there. That's just like entirely accurate. It's entirely accurate. Yes. I mean, are you going to deny any of that?
No, she just gets a little taller. It's the only difference.
Yep. that's literally the only difference.
Okay, so Sarah finds Jimmy, and again, any other time,
he would have deserved it.
It would have been satisfying. Any other time,
but not this time.
Not this time. So Double D is he's concerned. As we see like Ed like sharpening the spatula and everything here. Eddie couldn't care less.
It's like just as long as he's able to get them to Spook-e-ville.
Exactly. So Ed sees Sarah's the vampires here now. Again, yet another thing where this is what frustrates me about the episode. Okay, I'm all for Ed has been pushed around by this little terrorist so many times in this series. It's like the one time he actually is kind of fighting back, not being in his right state of mind. And you know what? It's like why does it have to be the one time I'm kind of like Sarah's kind of in the right for being upset that they unnecessarily beat up Jimmy and took his candy.
The only other time that he really does this is when he has the pebble in his shoe.
Yeah, that's great.
It's like so move.
Which I love that, by the way. So, God,
that means if Ed just stood up for himself more,
yeah,
she would be a complete pushover.
Which is perfect. I love that, by the way. It's like that's what I'm saying. Like that that's great. That's perfect.
Yeah.
That fits that episode. It's a hysterical payoff. The pebble, little tiny little pebble in the shoe. Oh, that's great.
And I mean, yeah, dude, yeah, Dragon. I'm not gonna say that this episode is that Boo-ha-ha is better than any of those. Don't get me wrong.
Well, yeah, no, I'm just saying it's like, okay, this is satisfying to see Ed, like giving it back to Sarah here, but it's like, really? Does it have to be the one time he's in the wrong?
So you're taking it as like if someone went into this blind, it wouldn't be seen as justified.
Essentially, yeah, in a roundabout way, yeah, it feels like, yeah, this is not justified. In the grand scheme of the show, okay, this is great to see, but it's like, why do we have to get this awesome kind of like, yeah, Ed, stand up for yourself moment to him, like, he just beat up a guy who said he liked his costume. He dented the poor kid's head in the pole of a stop sign. I mean, come on.
And then he buried his little sister.
He buried the sister alive.
Yeah.
Which again, ordinarily justified.
Would be and is still hilarious.
Yes, still funny. Double dealing using little water pails to show. Okay, he didn't actually bury the little girl alive. She's gonna live. Darn
it. You think Double D's first instinct would be to get her out, but
he did.
Yeah, but like actually dig her out. But he was probably fearing for his own life at that point too.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway.
So. Oh, by the way, how funny was the steak gag?
That was great.
Yeah, steak to the heart.
The steak will do you in.
Oh, Eddie's like, where'd you get the steak?
It's like,
do we have any more of those steaks?
I mean, it's a pretty good looking steak too.
Yeah.
Have you ever had I've actually been using my grill lately and cooking quite a few steaks. I've actually gotten like a new rub recipe.
Nice.
Like, do you eat a lot? Do you eat steak, Dragon?
Not. It's been like forever. Not really.
All right.
I appreciate steak though.
I mean, it's good every once in a while.
Yeah. Of course, I appreciate this for the sake of the running gag. The 72-ounce steak.
Well, which one was that?
Well, that was kind of our Blazing Saddle, like Slim Pickens thing, where it's like, what if Slim Pickens, he chewed the scenery like the 72-ounce steak challenge. Basically, he would just go on this tirade about like, I want all the scenery with all the fixings like a 72-ounce steak.
He's like, and what in the wide world of sports is going on here?
Yep. We're in a crap load of dimes.
Somebody should go back in town and get a lot more dimes.
Exactly.
72 on steak challenge for every scene he's in.
Exactly.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, like, he does do that. Like, ZNK says, and he's the one who wrote in the comments.
Yeah.
Like, and basically he's not the only one who chooses scenery in that movie, let's face it. Headley Lamar. It's Headley. He also chooses the scenery quite a bit too.
Yep.
Maybe not as much, but he definitely does.
Still loving the making of Blazing Saddles. Brooke is like, you know what? Pay her whatever she wants. To Hedy Lamarr, she doesn't, basically they don't want her. Her representation do not give permission for them. Like, pay her, give her whatever she wants. She deserves it. It's a class act, that Mel Brooks.
And then he's like, it's 1874. You'll be able to sue her. Yep.
It's warped. You keep giving me a warped one.
Oh God.
Like, anyway.
Yeah. So back to Ed and Eddy. So he buries Sarah.
Yep, and she died, and that's the end of her in the show.
We can only hope. I'm
just next stop, DW from Arthur.
Oh God.
Did you ever look into the finale? Oh, sorry, I'm getting off track here. Did you ever look into the finale of Arthur?
All I know, I didn't watch it. All I know is that they got the original voice of Arthur back to voice his adult self.
Yeah.
That's literally the only thing I know about the Arthur finale.
I mean, you should watch like the last clip, like the very tail end of that finale.
And what does that do with DW?
Well, I'm just saying we see like what happened to DW in the future.
Well, what happened to her?
Well, she actually became a cop.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Interesting.
get the boss people around.
Oh God, we're all in trouble now.
Well, that's an accurate representation of law enforcement. I'm afraid to say.
I meant just with DW.
Well, that's what I mean. Like DW as the police force is like, yep. That's PBS trying to say something in the most kid friendly way possible. DW as a cop.
Yeah, we're not gonna get political here, folks.
Well, no, man, we're being ridiculously kiddified in our political views here. So
Binky apparently is a weatherman.
I think so. It was something like that. It was a weatherman or something.
And Arthur became a game designer?
Well, no, I think Arthur became a writer.
A writer, right.
I'm pretty sure it was a writer because of the whole, like, the meta gag. Arthur basically ends on a meta gag that he wrote the Arthur series of books.
Right. But still, I mean, that at least makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God.
Okay, anyway.
So he leaves Sarah for dead. Buried alive.
No, Double D saves her. It's okay. So
not the Ryan Reynolds movie.
Yeah.
Wasn't he buried alive in a movie?
Well, yeah, it's just called Buried.
Buried, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's see. Okay, so Double D runs after the guys. He bumps into Naz, who was Medusa.
Yep.
Like, I love you can already tell like the disaster is going to happen. You're like dressed as like Medusa of all people.
Like Double D's like taking the opportunity to get away from it and just go trick or treating with her.
Yeah, look, I like it when we reward Double D for the civility, where it's like, he's the again like the Smurfette of the show. It's like, hey, let's go trick or treating. It's like, okay, Double D's gonna get some candy going on here. He's with Naz. And things are going pretty well. She actually kind of likes the costume.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about this real quick. Okay, so here's why we don't see. Oh, yep.
Go on.
Here's why we don't see the Jawbreakers.
Yeah.
Okay, so the writing challenge of this episode of this special is the show all about the pursuit of Jawbreakers, aka candy. The Eds want candy, specifically Jawbreakers. So we have a special set around Halloween where it would be, in theory, it would be impossible for them not to get candy. And if they get candy, essentially the show's over. So we can't. So that's the challenge of this special. So we have to come up with a way for them to circumvent getting candy. Which, if they do, there's no conflict. They win. So that's the thing. So basically, we have this. The whole Spook-e-ville plot is specifically between that and Ed's hallucinations is designed to avoid them getting candy, which is why primarily we don't. Yet again, they do not get the Jawbreakers. I'd like to think hypothetically they would have gotten the Jawbreakers if they actually trick or treated.
Yeah, it's a Shaggy Dog story.
There you go.
Anyway.
So
Ed has this hallucination. Do not look at her; you'll turn to stone.
There's a naughty joke in there somewhere. We're not gonna do that here.
Okay then.
It's a classic Medusa joke, but anyway. So
Ed, I kind of get where you're going with this.
Point being, Ed goes to save Double D, tackles poor Naz.
Throws her to cement mixer.
Yes, it's again very uncalled for. And I love that Naz isn't even upset about the tackling at first. Just like, what's wrong with him? He's just kind of standing there, and then
she's more upset with throwing in the cement mixer.
Yeah, which I mean, she's like in this cartoony cement block. It's like not cool, dudes. She has every right to be upset.
Yep, and even then she takes it better than other people do.
That's true.
She's like, okay, that is so not cool.
I love Ed's his very diluted buzz dialogue here. You venomous vixen of masonry. A lot of diluted Buzz kind of nicknames amongst Ed here.
I can at least see Patrick Warburton Buzz saying that.
True.
Maybe not Tim Allen Buzz, but
I was thinking like diluted Buzz from Toy Story 2, the whole help me prop up Vegetable Man or we're done for. Their standard issue, slotted pig.
I was like, well, actually, the Dragon line is like, well, slotted pig, their standard issue.
All right.
You claim to be the Toy Story fan here.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to walk out of this podcast right now.
Hey.
I'll take a lot of abuse from you, but that I'm going to draw the line at right now.
Hey, you call me on all kinds of stuff all the time. And they said, you're this big Buzz Lightyear Toy Story fan. You can't even get the lines right. All right, Dragon, calm down. I'm just kidding. Come on. I'm sorry. All right.
Yeah.
It's like, well, slide pig. It's standard issue.
Anyway.
It's like, and also use your head.
But I don't want to use my head.
Ow. Ow. Oh, God, I wish they kept actually that in the movie at first. I wish that was actually the scene in the movie.
Well, we have pacing.
Yeah, I know. And they had to have the dramatic reveal of Stinky Pete outside of his box. So, yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
So, anyway, they get a win. They start continuing on their journey to Spook-e-ville.
USA.
So what happens next?
Well, let's see. So the Eds, they're hold on. Oh yeah, so the Eds, they go into seemingly like kind of an abandoned car. Double D is like calling Ed out on basically as if he were his mother.
Shush! And it just shushes him.
Yep.
The monsters have very good hearing, Double D.
All right, so Double D voices his concerns to Eddy. Just complete tunnel vision for Spook-e-ville.
Yep. Double D being the only sane man once again.
Yep. So basically, it's just okay. So we were okay. You're gonna go by the abandoned hearse, and he's like, "Oh my god, we were just in an abandoned hearse."
It's like, and Double D starts to see oh my, realize something's going on.
So here's something kind of ironic. So Kevin shows up, warranting punishment this time. He's tossing eggs at people on his bike.
It's like, yeah, Kevin's revenge at the end is it's like who's gonna pay for a bike? I was like, no one, because you are assaulting them.
Yeah, there's your pepper. So Kevin,
he's throwing eggs at the Eds.
Yeah, and so Ed sees Kevin as the headless horseman from Cirrhosis of Liverpool.
Cirrhosis of Liverpool?
Yeah, that's what he says.
Yep.
Yeah, Cirrhosis of Liverpool.
Oh, God. He's getting these all mixed up.
Well, to be fair, a lot of B movies, so those actually might be accurate titles. So there's like knockoffs of the good stuff.
I know, but it's from Sleepy Hollow.
But as I'm saying, what if it's a B movie version of Sleepy Hollow where it's actually Cirrhosis of Liverpool?
It's like, I don't know. I mean, I think even Ed would be aware. Maybe, okay, then again, it's Ed, so probably not.
Yeah, I mean, it's either it's all jumbled in his head, or it's like actually a horrible B movie out there that's, Cirrhosis of Liverpool.
I mean, the thing is, Sleepy Hollow is a real place.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's like, I was hoping they would at least do that, but Cirrhosis of Liverpool. It is cirrhosis, right?
Yeah.
What does that even mean something? Because I swear I've heard that term before.
Yes, it's a real. Yeah, it's a medical thing, Jacob.
What does it mean?
Okay, so the gag is based on cirrhosis of the liver. It's like a thing that happens to drunks.
All right, that's what I've heard. That's what I've heard that.
So that's what I'm saying. Liverpool, so it's a nod to Sleepy Hollow. Is okay? What if we took cirrhosis of the liver being Liverpool? So which also it's a pun because you have like basically God, like kind of like a New England sort of thing. So Liverpool's from England, so it's kind of like.
Is it really supposed to be that layered?
I mean, it could be.
I mean, it's pretty clever if it is. If that's the case.
I think it is. 'Cause, I mean, Liverpool. I think it's kind of a combination of like the puns, cirrhosis of the liver and it's like an actual like liver pool. I don't know, maybe. So
I mean, it's pretty. I mean, that's pretty creative. If that's actually was the intention.
I would like to think that was the intention.
All right. Well, good on good on the writers then.
All right, so he throws the Eds off the cliff, and then we have Kevin with like as the headless horseman with like the flaming pumpkin.
Like didn't get like I guess this counts in part for the Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad's 75th anniversary this month.
Well, we would be covering that if we didn't already cover it, which we did. So
yeah,
like way back. So
probably 5 years ago. Probably.
I think it was an anniversary. I just don't know if we did it on the money or not.
All right, let's see. Mr. Toad. I'm not seeing it on here.
Okay, Jacob, we covered it, but we didn't cover the Mr. Toad part of it.
All right, I know.
Anywho.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, so we have like Ed with the flaming pumpkin on his tongue, which essentially is the egg, and he hurls the egg back at Kevin, throwing him off the bike, and then basically the bike collides into Ed. See, the implication is that because the horse is like thrown into him, he throws the horse back at him, which is funny.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of blazing saddles, I mean, very blazing saddles, basically weaponizing the horse.
Literal blazing saddle.
Yep.
And knocks them down. Like Ed manages to throw the horse. In reality, it's just Kevin's bike.
Yeah, so he basically tosses the bike back at Kevin and it breaks. So a few things here. Okay, one, feels a little disproportionate that we probably should have hurt Kevin more, compared just given how we buried Sarah alive and we dented Jimmy's. When you saw Jimmy, by the way, when you saw him indented in the ground, he was a mess. Like we really hurt Jimmy there.
I mean, Jimmy hurts himself most of the time.
He does, but not this time though. This is like the one time.
Yeah, I always remember. For some reason, I always remember when he was like trying to use eyelash curlers, and he said the last you see him is him going away in an ambulance crying.
There were 2 times in which Jimmy was really hurt, like in which it was not entirely his fault, and that was this time, and it was the origin for the teeth.
Yeah. Anyway,
so
most of the time he deserves it, though.
Well, you're right. Most of the time, not this time. Every other time.
Well, we're being rude to. We're being very mean to Jimmy.
Where are we getting this "we" from?
It's like, well, the fact that both of us are like saying, yeah, he deserves it. I mean, you just agreed with me. Come on.
Yes, except this time.
I said, except this time. That's why
this time.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that.
I think that's being accurate, though. I don't think that's being mean to Jimmy.
I'm just saying, like, we're saying he deserves it. That's what I mean.
Yes.
It's like, so we're being very mean to Jimmy.
Yeah.
Let's just face it, he deserves it, though.
Yeah.
And so does Sarah, but she doesn't get it. Doesn't get it nearly as much.
No, never.
Nah.
Okay,
Except the one time Ed yelled at her to move.
He just yelled at her though.
Like, so move!
Yeah.
But again, she deserved it. Anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
so
yeah.
The point being, Kevin, you should have been hurt worse, but we break. I'm just saying, because in terms of like he's the one actually of all of these people, the only one actually is something genuinely malicious to the Eds.
Throwing eggs at them.
Yeah.
And Eddie's just like is it just me or do raw eggs smell like I don't even remember what he said.
It was like wet dog or something.
Wet dog, yeah. I mean the mom
like dog in the rain or something. It was something like wet dog.
Like wet dog.
Yeah.
Which is one of them deodorant scents in Monsters Inc.
Yeah.
So it's like so there's a cheap alternative to deodorant. Just get eggs and just rub them all over your armpits.
By the way, that's the one joke in Monsters Inc. I don't care for. The only joke I don't care for in that movie.
And I probably just made it worse for you.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, just take the raw eggs and just rub them all over your armpits.
Yeah. It's not that it's a bad. I want to be clear. It's not that it's a bad joke. It's just it opens up this one problem in the world building of Monsters Inc. for me. It's like Now we gotta Boo should be repulsed by the smell of these guys. If that's how all the monsters are using deodorant smell like, it's like adds this layer of I don't need to imagine what the monsters smell like.
Yeah, I guess so. But come on, this thing just kind of in a way humanizes them. It's
No,
just
yeah, that's the thing. It's a great scene. There's nothing wrong with the scene itself. I'm just saying in the world building, it's well, now they all smell.
They're just two guys hanging out, we're just borrowing deodorant.
Odorant in this case.
Odorant, yeah.
All right.
But yeah, so the Eds all fall down this cliff, and then into a field of trees.
Yep. I do love that Kevin's bike is smashed beyond repair, though. That was somewhat, kind of satisfying, cathartic. Yeah, Kevin. We know that kid loves his bike more than Naz.
Yep, and that's why she leaves him.
Exactly. So it's also kind of a Fonzie-esque thing with him. He's very attached to the bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know we've said things about people. If we learn anything from that Courage the Cowardly Dog podcast, it's when a man loves his vehicle.
Yep. Oren also loves his chair.
Yep.
He has two loves.
Neither of them are his wife.
His truck and his chair.
Yep. Nero's not even the third. I'm sure there's another thing too. Maybe his hat. His hat.
His newspaper.
Then it's okay. So newspaper, then his hat, and the wife's the fifth thing. Even then, the wife's a maybe.
Yes, it's remember. You know how much he loves his chair dragon. Remember when he's thrown off the friggin' boat, he's still nope, not getting out of this chair.
Hey, do be fair. The only one who rivals that is Archie Bunker. But that's where they probably got that gag from.
It's nope, not getting out of this chair.
By the way, I'm just going to completely derail things. I can't emphasize the moment in All in the Family, late All in the Family, where Michael accidentally broke Archie's chair.
Oh no!
And how much dread there was. There was instant fear, the way Rob Reiner played that. Just I broke his chair, and he's just freaking out over. Oh my God, his most cherished possession in the world. I sat in it, and it broke.
Oh no!
It's oh God. Just see Archie Bunker. He comes home and Ian is trying to shield him from us while the chair's being repaired and everything, and he's oh, it's one of the great later episodes of All in the Family where he is not having it. He is upset.
Nah.
Comparing the chair to Edith's mother.
Oh God.
Just saying, but Archie, it had beer stains. So's your mother. I had a broken leg. So's your mother.
Oh God. What a meathead.
Yep.
Anyway.
All right, so
the next clue on the map is to look for the oak tree, which is a problem.
A lot of trees.
Yes. So with Lothar leading the way, they come across the spider monster.
This is truly horrifying, by the way, seeing Johnny as this weird mutated spider hybrid.
And Ed's he's a terrifying but misunderstood creature. Of all the creatures to be misunderstood, it's the Johnny spider.
He he longs for companionship and checkers.
Oh God! And this is the only hallucination Ed doesn't beat up in any way.
Which again, you kind of wish was the opposite.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Johnny. Johnny didn't do anything to deserve
Really?
it.
Do you like Johnny?
I mean, I don't hate him or anything. I mean, I like him more than Kevin, and more than Jimmy.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. I don't know. I mean, if I really had to stack, I don't have to think on it. If I stack Jimmy against Johnny, it's I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, if you're asking who I'd hang out with in real life, more I'd go with Johnny.
That's because he has Plank.
Well, that too.
I'm saying, that's not good.
Plank's the cool guy of the cul-de-sac.
It's a block of wood.
Exactly. He's the cool.
You could just make your own block of wood, paint the face on it, right?
I'm Dragon. It's a joke.
Yeah.
I'm just joking, Dragon.
Okay.
You don't need to get all bent out of shape over a piece of wood.
All right.
But anyway, like he's the only one he doesn't beat up. He just gives him the candy and just points him in the right direction.
Which is literally just follow the path.
Yep. I was like, come on, you gotta admit, like he didn't do anything to deserve it either. If you're talking about how Jimmy didn't do anything to deserve it in this episode, Jimmy didn't do anything.
Well, I agree with you. I'm just saying this is like another case of like reverse the fortune here. Like ordinarily Johnny would do something to warrant a beating. This is like the one time he didn't.
It's like, you mean like when he was Captain Melon?
Yeah.
Like, what did he do to Warren? What was wrong with him being Captain Melon?
Well, remember he was in Big Picture Show when he showed up. He was beating up on the Eds.
Well, I know he was in the Big Picture Show as Captain Melon, but I meant in like the original episode where he was Captain Melon.
Oh.
Remember, he was in an episode. He's like stopping the Eds, like saving him from the Eds' schemes.
Right. Okay, fair point. Well, okay, fine. There are some exceptions, but more often than not.
It's like, oh come on, like Jimmy's and Johnny's like the only one to treat the Eds like somewhat fairly.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, I think he's like one of the nicer people of the group. But I won't deny your point, but I still like him more than some of the others when it comes to. I mean, they're all great characters in terms of like how they interact with the Eds, but you get what I'm saying, right?
No, you're not on trial. It's okay.
I know. I'm just trying to say why I don't think Johnny is justified. I like hurting Johnny would be justified here.
All right.
Anyways, but apparently it is okay to hurt Plank though.
The only thing that would have made this scene funnier is if they played like the Office Space music when he's beating up on Plank.
I don't think they had the rights for it.
No, God, no.
I don't think Cartoon Network would allow it either.
Plus, there's too many F-bombs in that song. They can't use that.
Yeah. What's the name of the song again?
I don't remember. But I'm trying to remember if it was like, and there's a lot of obscenities in the song.
Well, I don't doubt it. I mean,
I think it's like a rap song. It's something.
And a Family Guy paired it. I remember that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
Like I said, I know what you're talking about. But I just can't place the song.
Okay, the point being, Ed beats up Plank.
I mean, from Ed's perspective, it's a giant plank, and he's beating him with a piece of wood.
Not just the plank, Frankenplank.
Frankenplank.
I love the idea that it's Plank, but he's been killed and revived
with another piece of wood.
Yes, which is that's hysterical. It's very visual.
Yep, not exactly Frank and Ollie, but Frank and Plank.
Yep.
You know who Frank and Ollie is, right?
You mean the animators, right?
No, I mean Dr. Frank and Ollie.
Dr. Frank and Ollie.
Yeah, from Runaway Brain.
Oh, well, yeah, he's named after Frank and Ollie. Yes,
I know, Dragon. It was a trap, all right. I'm just Dragon again. I'm just kidding. Come on.
Okay.
I was just messing with you anyway.
All right. So, Double D telling Plank to go home, go to Johnny's. It's pretty funny.
It was wholesome.
Yeah.
And it's like, does he actually think that Plank will listen?
Well, somehow, I mean, the idea of Johnny's like waiting for Plank to catch up to him is absurd. So I would like to think, probably.
Do you think Plank is actually alive?
Well, I'm gonna say no, but Johnny absolutely thinks he is.
I mean, I think that's the point, but
well, yeah, I don't know. I think somehow Plank is getting from point A to point B. I'm thinking that's Johnny's psychosis, like moving him between shots.
For all we know, or for all we can know, Plank is just this abomination, just this otherworldly abomination, this eldritch abomination that's in the shape of a piece of wood.
Yeah, he's carved from cursed wood.
You know that wouldn't be too out there for Lovecraft.
Nope.
And so after this point, Ed just takes over map duties.
About Z and K is a good point here. Like, like the whole hey Plank, your mom is calling. And he stuck his head up.
And wasn't Plank also a student at the high school, at the junior high school?
Now that I don't know.
I could have sworn they called on Plank once.
That's what I'm saying. That school's out of its mind if they're letting that piece of wood.
Dragon, if you've seen some of modern education nowadays, it wouldn't be too far off now.
Yeah, I guess.
Again, that's probably about as political as we're gonna get, folks.
Yep.
Anyway, so Ed takes over map duties by just licking the paper and sticking it over his face, which is apparently very effective.
Yep. So they let's see they run across Rolf and Wilfred.
Yep. Oh yeah, I guess I'm skipping ahead a little bit.
Well, after they go across the ravine and everything too. It's the inexplicable ravine.
Yeah, well, that must be the creek in Peach Creek.
Uh-huh. Well, we see the creek and then they have the ravine.
Yep. It's like you remember that episode where they thought that Eddie's family founded Peach Creek, but then he lost it to the cankers. Remember that one?
Yeah, I do.
It was great.
Yeah.
Anyway, Canadians are weird. And heck, it was written by a Canadian and said by a Canadian.
You love the Canadian squirt gun gags so much.
We do love the Canadian squirt guns and the Canadians. We don't have any problems with Canadians.
Now here's the real question: turkey baster or something else? That's the thing. Turkey. I'm leaning towards turkey baster, but there could be a dirty joke there.
All right then.
I mean, they're squirting water out of those things. I'm just saying.
I think it's just meant to be a turkey baster.
I think it's that. I know. I'm just saying that people have kind of joked like, "Oh, wait, was that what I thought?" It was like, no, of course not. It's going to be a turkey baster, but still.
I mean, it's even called a turkey baster in the episode.
I know it's called a turkey baster in the episode, and it functions, you guessed it, as a turkey baster, but people are weird, man.
Like Canadians.
Yes. Yeah, we're talking about you, laser dude. We know what you do with that turkey baster, man.
Yeah, he plays squirt guns with it.
Yeah.
Oh, then that's what you obviously mean, right, Dragon?
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, we don't have any problems with Canadians. We're just referencing a gag from the show. We don't have any issues.
The only Canadian we have a problem with is laser dude. But aside from that,
and that's more of like a joking kind of problem.
Yeah. Laser dude has got a weird hang up about Condiment King. It's a whole.
Like, well, I mean, we kind of brought that on him though.
No, I think the problem's there.
It's like we kind of brought it out in him though.
Maybe
we didn't help him.
I mean, we laughed at his amusement, while he was spiraling on the ground. It's sometimes just funny. It's just funny seeing a Canadian go insane. I don't know what to tell you.
That was his villain origin story. I swear to God.
Yeah. We just confront him with the Condiment King every turn until he just went crazy and he started hitting himself on the head with a mallet and then then there you go.
Are you sure it was a mallet and not an actual hammer?
So fine, it's a wooden hammer, okay?
There we go.
All right.
We don't need to censor ourselves too much here.
Yeah.
We can go with the hammer.
All right.
like so they go. So Rolf is actually being a pretty civil with them. He's like doing his thing with the mushrooms.
Basically, again, Rolf not celebrating Halloween, but just a weird mushroom fungus like by the moonlight ritual.
Which you do you.
Yeah, unless you're Beth Smith.
Oh God, Dragon.
Yeah, that was your joke.
I know it was my joke. And technically they're the ones that came up with it. And I was like, you do you to its logical conclusion.
Yep.
Or logical extreme, I guess.
Oh, he's a woman, Ed, yet again. Just, he stomps on Rolf's weird fungi mushrooms, and then he's
and
in.
Rolf's chasing after him. It's like and Rolf is actually being kind of play with like, tell me why I should not beat you with senses with a stick.
I love that. I love his like, why shouldn't I beat you?
Did you say like why should Rolf beat you with a stick? I mean, he's asking why before he's doing it, so there is that.
Yeah.
Rolf isn't as quick to violence as the other members of the other kids of the cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
So how does Rolf rank with you? Does he deserve this punishment?
Oh no, yeah, no, he deserves it all.
Yeah, we all like Rolf.
Yeah.
We all like Goku, don't we, Dragon?
Well, yes, we do.
Not this Goku though.
No, not this Goku, but Goku in general, yes.
I mean, do you like Peter Columbus's Goku?
Oh, I don't like Peter Columbus's Goku. No. I don't like Goku. I don't like this Goku.
Sean Schemmel's your favorite then?
Yes, absolutely.
Have you seen Daima, by the way?
I wanted to, but it doesn't come to Netflix till tomorrow for some reason. When it says like, "Hey, it comes to Netflix last Friday," it's a lie.
Wait, you don't have Crunchyroll?
Well, is it? Kind of, but I don't have the subscription to Crunchyroll.
Yeah, all right. Because I haven't watched it yet either. Anyway, but we love Rolf though.
Yeah,
he's great.
Oh yeah.
and he gets beat. He and Winifred get beaten, unfortunately, by Ed. I don't even know what he sees. How do you describe what he sees? He sees like Rolf as some kind of troll.
Yeah, basically a troll with like a weird demonic pig.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, I love all of Ed's hallucinations. They're hilarious.
Yeah.
And it's like, but after he takes care of them, they go on their way to Spook-e-ville. And what happens next, Dragon?
So they finally make it there after they see some landmarks like a shovel. Like, who's going to leave a perfectly good shovel out here like this? They end up seemingly back at the cul-de-sac, but it's not like a different area of the cul-de-sac. It's literally they went in a full circle. They're at Eddy's house.
It's like this is your house. Like, what, I win in the lottery or something? Like, no, this is your house. We went around in circles. Like, he was just talking about how great his brother is, but after he realized that this is my house. Is my brother a jerk or what?
Yeah, and again, this is kind of a foreshadow to a big picture show. Eddy's brother really is horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he is. But Ed thinks his job is done. It's like, wait, all the monsters, all the people of the cul-de-sac that he terrorized throughout the night, all congregate at once to attack the Eds.
Yep.
And what Ed fends them off like knocking down a light post. And he finds this convenient covered hole and takes them all down there and declares that his job is done. Somehow there's a chair down there with a newspaper.
I love that he had the foresight to kind of dig this foxhole and this little hidey hole and have it furnished and everything, like the hat rack and all that. I love that.
Which Lothar hangs up. Lothar is pooped. He just hangs up his beard, his helmet, and puts on a robe and starts reading a newspaper. Which do you think Ed? Like, why would Ed ever read a newspaper? Do you think even Ed could even read like that? Even read?
I think he can read when motivated.
Yeah, but probably not a newspaper.
Well, remember, he read like sci-fi magazines and everything.
I know, but not a newspaper.
Well, it's still print.
Yeah, I know, but do you think why would he? Then never mind. But unfortunately for Eddie and Double D, the other kids find it and start climbing down. And Double D's like practically begging for Ed to have one of his hallucinations to protect them from harm.
Yep.
But the one time he wants it, Ed's is like, "Now Lothar's job is done." And then they start getting beaten up. And then, like, the most terrifying hallucination of all happens, right, Dragon?
Yes.
tell them what the most horrifying hallucination is.
Okay, so Ed, he looks upon like the maelstrom of like the beating that Eddie and Double D are receiving, and we see again the reversal. Instead of seeing violence and horror, he is seeing, he's basically seeing frolicking.
Eddie and Double D frolicking in a bunch of flowers.
Yep. Like, oh, isn't that nice? Happy holiday. Oh, ain't Halloween so sweet?
And as they're getting beaten to a pulp. And Ed escapes scot-free.
I like that he escaped scot-free, but I still wish, I like that Ed doesn't get beat up. I think we're all expecting that. Just the fact we didn't do that would have been too negative. But by the same token, though, it's like, I mean, Ed really was disproportionate what he was dealing out, though.
And Ed and Double D and Eddie really didn't even do anything to them.
Yeah.
It was all. I mean, they weren't exactly doing anything to stop it. They just but they didn't really do anything to egg him on either.
Yeah, I mean, Eddie did ruin everyone's Halloween though with Spook-e-ville.
No, he didn't do. I mean, if anything, he ruined his own holiday.
Well, that's what I mean. He ruined for he and his friends though. Like, he cheated them out of candy.
Yeah, but he did it with the best intentions though.
Right.
He didn't intentionally cheat them out. That was more of his brother.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that concludes the episode.
Yep.
So, any closing thoughts there, Dragon?
I mean, look, again, there's a lot to enjoy in the episode. It's well conceived. It's just, again, I just think, there's some disproportionate punishments in this episode. It's a gripe, it's a nitpick, and just overall, it's weird putting the Eds in the situation where they can't get any candy on Halloween, and we have to come up with like a really out there way to circumvent that. I think it's cleverly done as much as it can be, but it's like, it's like the Jawbreaker holiday for them, and they don't even get close,
Yeah, but obviously, I think
like a Halloween special, not all about the candy. It's about the pursuit of the candy. It's not about the candy.
I mean, you kind of expect them to try and get the candy, so get the Jawbreakers. Yeah. So it's just like playing with their expectations in a way.
Yep.
And like I said, I enjoyed this episode. Obviously, I did more than Dragon. But again, that's the beauty of these things. We can just like explain why we like things, why we don't. That's the beauty of it, right, Dragon?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that does it. So thank you, Z and K, and Little Blue. I believe we had Little Blue briefly here. And all right, folks, that's the end of tonight's spooky selection. And our spirits grow weary. But they'll be stronger than ever next time as we engage in even more haunted holiday hijinks.
Buttered toast.